Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for choosing Big Fox News. I'm Nick Smith. We begin tonight in Corning, where the city kicked off this year's Glass Fest. This is the first time the event has been held in person since 2019. In tonight's top story, Matt Kleindist was at the ribbon cutting ceremony and joins us from the Corning Glass Museum.
Good evening. After a brief opening ceremony, Glass Fest 2021 has officially kicked off here in Corning. And for the Gafford District, this opening ceremony represents a reopening of the city.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
With the cutting of the glass ribbon, Glass Fest Fusion 2021 is officially underway. For Colleen Fabrizi, the ribbon cutting was incredibly special.
For the first time since 2019's ribbon cutting, felt such an overwhelming sense of joy.
The pandemic forced last year's festival to be held virtually. After a grueling year, Gafford District and city officials are ready to welcome back guests to the Crystal City.
Our businesses have struggled so hard throughout the 14 months, and it's here. You know, we're going to be in person.
I think people are so ready to get out and enjoy Corning again.
Mayor Bill Bolin says this year's festival is a breakout moment for Corning. With a mixture of in-person and virtual events, Mayor Bolin says people could safely enjoy the festivities while celebrating Corning's heritage.
Our heritage is in glass and all its utility and beauty, and that's what this community is about, and that's what this event is about.
This city's resiliency revolves around every amazing piece of our history and the future we are working so hard to achieve.
Events and promotions will be held throughout the week and conclude this Sunday. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
How did COVID-19 start? Well, that's the big question, with theories instead of answers at this point. And now, there's new information on researchers at a lab in Wuhan, China, who got sick before the first reported cases of the virus. As Britt Conway reports, these new details could add weight to the push for a more thorough investigation into the origins of the virus.
Wuhan, China, where the first known cases of COVID-19 were reported in December 2019. In March, the World Health Organization released a 120-page report outlining 4 theories on its origin. A very likely scenario, the virus spread to humans through an animal like a bat or pangolin. Extremely unlikely, a lab leak. But now we're getting new information about researchers at one of China's labs, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. 2 people briefed on a U.S. intelligence report say the report found 3 researchers from the lab got sick in November 2019 and had to be hospitalized. A State Department fact sheet from January only said it was several researchers in autumn 2019 with symptoms consistent with both COVID-19 and common seasonal illnesses. The director of Wuhan National Biosafety Lab responded, telling state media Global Times the report is, quote, a complete lie and, quote, those claims are groundless. This new information adds to growing concern over the need for a more in-depth probe into where COVID-19 started, pointing to a lack of transparency in the WHO's process.
I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we find out, to the best of our ability, exactly what happened.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Half the states in the U.S. and Washington, D.C. have fully vaccinated at least half their adult populations against COVID-19. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is reporting more than 285 million doses of the vaccine have been administered. That brings the number of people considered fully vaccinated up to 130 million, or 39.2% of the population. Just over 49% of the nation, or 163 million people, have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. Over the past week, about 1.8 million shots have been administered each day on average. Maine has the highest portion of fully vaccinated adults at 62.9%. According to the Gun Violence Archive, more than 7,500 people have died from gun violence in the U.S. this year. That's 23% more than the same period in 2020. Compared to 2019, it's a 40% increase. The Gun Violence Archive says there's been more than 200 mass shootings so far this year. This weekend alone, there were at least 12 across 8 states. At least 11 people died, 69 others were injured. Time is running out for Republicans and Democrats to reach a bipartisan deal on infrastructure. The president had hoped to reach progress on an agreement by Memorial Day. Both sides say they are now even further apart on where they stand. Madeline Rivera has the latest details from Washington.
Republicans and President Biden are no closer to bridging a gap on infrastructure. Late last week, the White House unveiled a $1.7 trillion proposal, down from the president's original ask of $2.25 trillion. The president making cuts to roads, bridges, and broadband.
Inaction is not an option. I hope we don't get too wrapped around the axle around these definitional questions.
But Senate Republicans say the price is still too high.
We're talking about an enormous sum of money.
The GOP also disagrees with the White House on how to pay for the plan, largely rejecting tax increases.
We're not unwinding the 2017 tax reform. We got the best economy of my lifetime within 2 years of that tax reform.
The White House, meanwhile, says no to higher gas taxes and user fees proposed by Republicans, sticking to raising the corporate tax rate.
He will not raise taxes on people who make less than $400,000 a year.
The Biden administration insists the president wants a bipartisan bill. However, some Democrats say they're willing to move forward without Republican support if needed.
I don't think we have a seriousness on the part of the Republican leadership to address the major crises facing this country.
There are two other bills that will test bipartisanship in Washington this week. One to establish a commission to investigate the January Capitol riot, and a $1.9 billion security supplemental bill. Lawmakers remain divided over how to protect the Capitol moving forward. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Humanitarian aid being sent to the Middle East as citizens there look to recover from the devastation left behind following the violence between Israel and Palestine. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., anti-Semitic attacks are being reported across the country. Greg Palcott has the latest from Israel.
No break in the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas over the weekend as humanitarian aid makes its way to the war-torn region to help citizens whose lives have been uprooted by the violence. United Nations aid officials touring the damage in the Gaza Strip over the weekend, assessing the massive destruction left behind after 11 days of fighting between Israel and Hamas.
There are many needs, obviously, in a situation like this. Everything from shelter, health care.
President Joe Biden saying his administration will work closely with the UN to expedite aid to the area. Despite these efforts, many in the region have doubts the ceasefire will hold.
I personally believe that this ceasefire will not hold more than a few months, maybe a year, and we'll be in another round, a stronger one, and much dangerous for us.
Meanwhile, in the United States, the Anti-Defamation League says in the week following the Gaza conflict, reports of anti-Semitism increased almost 50%. In Los Angeles, a suspect has been arrested for an attack on Jewish diners, charged with assault with a deadly weapon. And the New York City Police Department is investigating after they say a group of young men hurled anti-Semitic threats outside a synagogue and damaged cars parked nearby.
Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated in New York City. I want everyone to hear this loud and clear. We will stomp out anti-Semitism anywhere we find it.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is headed to the Mideast today in hopes of building on last week's ceasefire. In Tel Aviv, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
The U.S. Coast Guard is reminding boaters to stay safe during National Boater Safety Week. Boaters are expected to flock to the Finger Lakes as we inch closer to the summer, which could lead to increased accidents and drownings. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, 86% of drownings resulted from not wearing a life jacket. Boaters are asked to also attend a boating safety course before heading out onto the water.
So it's important that boaters, whether they're paddlecraft or power boaters, know the boating regulations. And that's where taking the boater safety course is tremendous at that, at helping you prevent accidents and also make you aware of where you should be and what you should be doing. Look out for each other.
Watson also says boaters should share their boating plans with people on land and make sure their equipment is up to date. National Boater Safety Week runs until the end of the week. Still ahead tonight, in Las Vegas, clinics are teaming up with entertainment officials to draw in more young adults, the vaccine hesitant, and the vaccine procrastinators.
You can get your shot, and then we're doing a promo, platinum membership card, a free bottle where you can do another shot, $300 in vouchers for dancers with the entertainers.
how they're pulling out the stops with creative freebies to get more shots in arms.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Starting off cool this morning, but then we did get close to normal by the afternoon. And by tomorrow, temperatures will be a little bit warmer than normal. We're talking about 5 degrees above normal, as south winds will really start to pick up during the day on Tuesday. This comes as a cold front approaches the Twin Tiers, and we are expecting that cold front to move through by the end of the week. So out ahead of it, there could be a few spotty showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow, especially late in the day. Our average high tomorrow is around 72 degrees. Our average low is around 45, and we're going to start off about 20 degrees above normal with readings in the 60s, 73 degrees by 11. By 1 o'clock, we'll be in the upper 70s and then close to around 80 degrees by 3 o'clock. And not only that, it's going to start to feel quite muggy out there as moisture starts to really stream in. So our dew points will be sitting in the 60s, and that's pretty high for our area for this time of year. So it really is going to warm up and get muggy right before that cold front comes through. And we are expecting partly cloudy skies as we head into the latter part of the day. So it's going to be pretty warm through your Wednesday, and then as this cold front makes its way through our area, we are expecting temperatures to start to drop late on Thursday into your Thursday. So we're going to start to feel it by the end of the week. Our future radar is showing not a lot going on for tonight, and the activity will be very sparse tomorrow. Just a few isolated showers, possibly an isolated thunderstorm late in the day. That clears out. And then on Wednesday, a few showers start to pop up near Hornell, and then throughout the day, especially in the afternoon, it becomes a little bit more widespread. There could be some moderate rain moving in, indication that there could be a few thunderstorms late in the day as well. This activity will continue through about 4 or 5 o'clock and then start to really taper down in the evening hours. Once that cold front comes through, it is going to clear the precipitation out on Thursday. But here's a look at your forecast for tonight. We dip down to around 57 degrees in Elmira, 59 degrees in Corning. A warm day tomorrow with highs around 79 degrees in Elmira, 80 degrees in Corning, and 82 degrees in Watkins Glen. There could be an isolated thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then better chances of rain on a Thursday, possibly becoming a little bit more widespread in the afternoon. But out ahead of that cold front, we warm up to around 85 degrees, then cooling down by 13 degrees on Thursday with the high around 72. And then it gets chilly on Friday, especially because we have the possibility of a few showers and thunderstorms as well. Drying out, and we're going to gradually warm up over the weekend with highs in the mid-70s by your Sunday.
As India continues to grapple with the coronavirus crisis, some patients who are infected or recently recovered from COVID-19 are catching another deadly infection known as black fungus, and it can be found anywhere. Mandy Gaither has more on how a person gets the infection and the symptoms in today's Health Minute.
It's called mucormycosis, a rare but potentially deadly infection, also known as black fungus.
Remember, we are in summertime. It's hot, it's humid, and everybody knows that fungus infection festers in these kind of climes.
The past few weeks, doctors in India began raising an alarm about thousands of black fungus cases. Many of those being infected there are coronavirus patients or those recently recovered whose immune systems have been weakened by the virus or underlying conditions, most notably diabetes. Black fungus has been around for a long time, is caused by mold in the soil, but can go into the air in the form of spores, attacking the respiratory tract. Symptoms depend on where in the body the fungus is growing, but can include facial swelling, fever, skin ulcers, and black lesions in the mouth.
So this is a pretty serious infection, which if not controlled, not treated, can have a mortality of anything from 20% to 50%.
The disease can be found around the world, but is generally rare in most places, though it can be hard to know the exact number of cases due to lack of comprehensive surveillance and data. But recovery depends on how early the disease is caught.
Early diagnosis, quick intervention, surgical if required, and then a prolonged course of judicious, potent antifungal agents, and you will get the better of the fungus.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Only in Vegas, from adult entertainment to a tourist stop. These are some of the places you can get a COVID-19 vaccine, and you can get some freebies as well. It's all a creative push to reach two groups, younger adults and those who are hesitant to get a vaccine. Jacqueline Schultz reports.
Let's give you a CDC card.
I wasn't going to do it. It was the place.
This trip off the strip is good for your health. The hustle is on to get more people in Clark County to get a vaccine. Pop-up clinics around Southern Nevada will be pulling out the stops with creative freebies.
You can get your shot, and then we're doing a promo, platinum membership card, a free bottle where you can do another shot, $300 in vouchers for dancers with the entertainers.
We'll give that a shot.
It's truly a targeted shot to get more shots in arms. The number of doses given daily across Clark County is falling dramatically by tens of thousands since April 5th, when the state opened up doses to everyone. And there's a crucial population lagging. This chart shows those in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have the lowest vaccination rates in Clark County.
Especially for young people, you may not feel very highly susceptible to the infection, or certainly not to severe disease or hospitalization.
Vaccine dodging among these age groups is documented nationally. People 18 to 44, according to a University of Maryland survey, are the least likely to fall in line for a vaccine, though they are all arguably the most mobile and social groups after reopenings across America.
They can get infected and they can spread the virus.
I feel it really spread the word that the vaccine can be a fun thing to do.
Now, for your daily dose of cute, some mini therapy horses paid a visit to a school in Kentucky. Students got to lead them through an obstacle course, but as Ashley Smith reports, this visit had a bigger purpose.
Mini therapy horses trotted their way through the grounds of Rise Academy in Florence today.
Go fast.
This is the third time Wendy and Willie Nelson with Seven Oaks Farm in Ross, Ohio, stopped by to visit with the students and staff here. Rise is a school for kids in grades 6 through 12, serving the at-risk population in Boone County.
I just thought it would be a really good experience for them, and my daughters grew up riding horses, and I know how important the whole equestrian thing was to them and really made an impact on their lives.
Fly lands on them. They know exactly where it is and what it's doing. That's how sensitive their touch is.
After a quick lesson about the horses and how to manage them, the kids got to give it a try for themselves. The students say it's a fun and unique experience getting to interact with the horses.
This is a very interesting experience, and if you have not tried it, it's very fun, and I would definitely recommend it.
It just brightens up a mood a little bit.
It's like a Kentucky vibe. Like we get to go in the country, and then you can just crawl around with the horses.
I love animals in general, and I am tempted when I get older to study for biology.
Warner says the students talk about the horses for several days after the visit. She's hoping in the future they can bring the mini horses to the school on a more regular basis and get more Boone County schools involved.
We've actually seen a lot of improved behavior because they had to be on good behavior in order to come outside today. So yes, their behavior, and even some of the shyest kids, I see them participating.
Look out, Mercedes-Benz. A competitor is encroaching on official Pope-mobile business. Electric car startup Fisker had a private meeting with Pope Francis Thursday to show him an all-electric version of the car it's developed. Founder Henrik Fisker said he wanted to develop an electric version of the Pope-mobile because Pope Francis is concerned about climate change. The car is based on Fisker's all-electric Ocean SUV. Richard Branson is one step closer to going out of this world. His company, Virgin Galactic, completed a third successful test flight to space. The rocket-powered spacecraft VSS Unity, with 2 pilots aboard, made it more than 55 miles into the upper atmosphere Saturday morning above New Mexico. This moves Virgin one giant leap closer to its goal of launching paying customers into space within the next year. A large-scale cicada emergence is leading to some creepy, crawly culinary creativity. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
As billions of cicadas are starting to appear in the largest U.S. emergence since 2004, most Americans are probably just looking to avoid the buzz. But others are putting their money where the mouths are, saying if you can't beat them, eat them. A University of Tennessee professor and a cicada enthusiast recently teamed up to show off some creepy-crawly culinary creations like cicada stir-fry.
I think of it as kind of a shrimp taste.
And cilantro lime cicada street tacos.
That's good grub.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it. The pair say millions worldwide eat bugs every day, and that cicadas can actually taste very good. And hey, save room for dessert. Take a look at this Maryland sweet shop cashing in on the cicada craze by air frying batches of the bugs and covering them in chocolate.
We clean them first, then we air fry them, and then we dip them in chocolate, and you can sprinkle whatever spice you want on top.
The owner says it's the rarity of these once-a-17-year visitors that inspired her recipes, and the buzz has interested customers swarming. I don't know, sometimes it's best to leave the taste testing to the professionals, like Ethan, a Kentucky rescue dog who was just named Chief Tasting Officer for Busch Beer's new non-alcoholic dog brew. Ethan's is a true rags to riches story. Just months ago, he was found abandoned and malnourished on the streets of Louisville, and now, amid a sea of qualified canine candidates, the former stray's been named Pick of the Litter. He'll now enjoy a $20,000 paycheck, pet insurance perks, and of course, all the doggy bone brew he can lap up. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A Florida man was running out of luck until he caught a break with a scratch-off ticket. 38-year-old Curtis Fuller's truck broke down 2 days before he bought a Florida lottery ticket at a Jacksonville convenience store. And 2 days before that, his wife's car had broken down. But a $5 scratch-off ticket turned his fortunes around quickly with $1 million in winnings. Fuller told lottery officials that he and his wife will use that money to buy 2 new vehicles and a new house. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.